The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. Hi, welcome to the recap room. In today's video, we'll be talking about a drama film based on a true story entitled The Boy Who Harnessed the Wind. Warning, spoilers ahead. The film started with a scene where farmers are busy working on a cornfield. Suddenly, a man fell and died. His name is John Kamkwamba. At the funeral, as the minister is giving a message, we're introduced to John's younger brother named Chiwetel. Both of them work on that field together. The ceremony ended with a ritual dance. We then see Chiwetel's son, William, who is busy repairing a radio. Farmers rely on the radio for weather forecasts. Chiwetel's eldest child is Annie. William is asked by his dad to fix the roof, and while he was up, a neighbor came to pick up his radio that William was working on. He then asked for an extension, since he is still finding the problem with the radio. After taking a bath, William was happy to see the school uniform his parent left at his bed. He went out on his new clothes and thanked them. While walking to school with his dog, he met his friend Gilbert. Meanwhile, Chiwetel is seen in the marketplace. His wife and daughter are in the barn doing some work as well. The mother reassured her child that after university, she'll have no problem finding a job. It is William's first day in school. During the orientation, the headmaster informed the students that once their tuition fee is paid, they will receive their library card. Suddenly, it was interrupted because of the rain. Inside the classroom, their science teacher introduced himself as Mr. Kachigunda. After the class, William handed over a letter from his sister to his teacher. He said it's for her university placement. Mr. Kachigunda then reminded him to tell his father to pay his school fee in full so he could continue studying. At home, while William is busy reviewing for an exam, his mother stopped him and said it's too dark. He asked for kerosene for light, but there's not enough. So Agnes, his mom, asked him to help his father plant corn instead. The next day, Mr. Kachibundan handed out their test papers and said William can do better. After school, William and Gilbert went to the junkyard to find a way to study at night. There, William found a pump and a battery. At Gilbert's house, his father, the chief, was trying to explain to the men gathered that their land and the trees are important. He wants them to refuse the offer given by the investor who wants to buy their land. However, Jeremiah stood up and said he'll take the offer and sign because they need the money. Then, one by one, the men followed Jeremiah and accepted the offer. Disappointed, Chiwetel went to Jeremiah and told him his father would never sell that land. He also confronted him about his gambling problem, but he refused to take his advice. At the field, while William was busy working on a bird trap, he noticed the noise from afar. Following the sound, he saw the people that are busy cutting down the trees. He then went to visit a house where they will listen to a game. But then suddenly, the battery died, so he ran home in the pouring rain to get a battery in their house. When he saw his dad, he reminded him of the school fees that needed to be paid. William then returned to his friend and he showed them how to repair the broken radio. On their way home, William and Gilbert saw Mr. Kachigunda and Annie together. The next day, they planned to destroy their teacher's bike, but William couldn't do it, so Gilbert told him to take the light instead so he could use it to study. While he's trying to remove it, William figures out how the bike's lamp works. It turns on when they turn the pedal and off when they stop. At home, William overheard his parents talking about their budget. He was saddened when he found out that they don't have money yet for his school fees. It was raining heavily the next day. At school, those that were not yet fully paid the tuition fee were gathered and were asked to go home and get it or else they won't be able to continue their studies. The rain flooded their cornfield, so Chiwetel planned to visit an old friend named Daniel at the auction house. He brought his son to meet Daniel. Chiwetel wanted to buy back the trees on the Kamkwamba land because they are losing the harvest due to the flood. Unfortunately, Daniel said it is not possible. He informed him as well to prepare for the long hungry season coming. Now, it's time for the dry season. The crops did not grow well because of the dry land, so Chiwetel met with the chief. He urged him to bring up the concern when the president visits the area. William and Gilbert are back at the junkyard again. William wants to repair the battery so he could use the water pump, but he's problematic because he needs electricity to make it work. At the school, William secretly entered to go to his science class. When the class was over, William asked his teacher about how the light in his bike works. He mentioned it was because of the dynamo, and if he wants to know more about it, he should go to the library. But because William hasn't paid school fees yet, he doesn't have a library card. He then revealed that he knows about his teacher's relationship with his sister and is willing to keep it a secret. so Mr. Kachigunda helped William to get into the library to study. He looked for books about how to use energy. It was time for the president's visit. When the village chief gave his speech, he voiced out the people's concern regarding the flood and the famine to come. However, he was stopped by the president's assistant and was brought down. At the back, Gilbert and William saw the chief beaten by the assistant. Because of what happened, the chief became ill. Harvest time has come, but the family were concerned to see that they don't have enough to survive. Chiwetel is forced to sell the roof of their house to make ends meet. The prices of goods are now rising. It is obvious that they are having a food crisis. However, the government is still denying it and is only concerned about the election. Chiwetel then decided to join the opposition rally in Nakata Bay, despite his wife not approving it. At another place, Mr. Kachibunda met with Annie and asked her to leave the village and marry him. At school, William was surprised to see that the headmaster would be the one teaching the science class, so when he noticed him, he told him he's expelled and will never be allowed to study there again. Back at their house, he told his mom about the incident. Suddenly, they see their neighbors running after a government truck carrying grain, so Agnes asked William to go and buy as much as he can because they'll sell it cheaper. While on the way to rally, Chiwetel saw the situation in the neighboring village. People are in panic, attacking each other for food. Concerned about his family, he asked the driver to stop and turn back. Annie has decided to leave their place, but her mother talks her out of it. Suddenly, a man entered the house and stole their food. Other men stole their harvest as well in the barn. William, on the other hand, lined up to buy grain. He went around to see the situation and found a way to sneak in. Finally, he found a chance to get inside and purchase grain. However, because many people are locked outside wanting to get in, they are trapped inside. It was nighttime and William is still trapped inside, so he asked for help so he could escape and run back home with their food. They gathered as a family to talk about how they would survive. Chiwetel said they can only eat one meal to make their supplies last. Annie blamed her father, but then Agnes reprimanded her. They have no choice but to still carry on with their day-to-day tasks, but eating only a portioned meal once a day. One night, William told his sister that he knew about his relationship with his teacher. He then asked her to help to ask for Mr. Kachibunda's dynamo so he could get water. The next day, Chiwetel and Agnes were devastated to find out that Annie left with the teacher. She wrote them a letter saying that at least they have one less mouth to feed. When William went to his room, he saw the dynamo from his teacher's bike. He and his family went to the headmaster to ask for Mr. Kachibunda's address, but he says he doesn't know where he is at the time and that the school is closing. William asked for his permission to enter the library and he gave it to him. He then took the books and began to do experiments with his friends. With the help of his friends, he wants to make a windmill. After a while, they finally succeeded in turning on the radio without using batteries. But the next step is to make a bigger windmill, and to do it, he needs his father's bike. William then approached his dad in the field to show him his experiment and told him his plan on building a bigger one to get water so that they can plant. Then he told him in order for that to happen, he needs parts from his father's bike. But he refused and asked him to plow the land instead. William asked for his friend's help to convince his father, but again he refused. William's dog dies of starvation and hope seems lost, so William's mother, Agnes, intervenes and urges Chiwetel to reconsider. After William buried his dog, his father came and agreed for him to use his bike. With the help of his family and friends and the few remaining members of the village, they built a full-size windmill. They waited for it to work and charged the battery. After some time, water finally flowed out of the hose. Chiwetel happily hugged his son and ran to get seeds so they could plant. William's parents are so proud of him. They finally were able to grow plants. Because of their success, word of William's windmill spreads and he is awarded a scholarship to attend school, ultimately receiving an environmental studies degree from Dartmouth College. For more movie recaps like this, make sure to like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell as well so that you are notified on our next uploads. Thank you for watching.